been another week since the last devlog, and I made a ton of progress since then. The main thing I did was just write the narrative. I spent 2 days actually writing a different novella, which was a dialogue about some of the philosophical topics I want to put into this game. And I think that was a day well worth spent, even if it wasn't directly working on the game, probably not cost effective. So I wrote that for 2 days, and that was fun. I basically spent the whole day writing. It was around 14,000 words total, but it was pretty relatively easy words because I had the plot all laid out beforehand, so I didn't have to do much planning during it, which is usually the time-consuming part. So that was Friday and Saturday last week, and then after that I began writing the story for this game, which was pretty similar. I think, as I said, it has the same philosophical concepts, but the story is much more difficult to write for this game because, one, it will be a standalone novella on its own, so around 10 to 20,000 words probably, but it also has to be cohesive with the actions in the game. You know, game story writing is nothing like writing just a simple game. Writing involves the player actually changing part of the world himself, so you have to kind of account for that. The way I like to think of that is that a single linear written book is kind of like a single line from a beginning to the destination or to the end of the book. And then a game is like many different lines, but they all start at the same place and they all end potentially in different places, but for mine, you end in the same place. Basically, for the novella, I'm going to take one of those potential lines from the game. So the premise of the game is that you basically have a bunch of blocks laid around the world, and you have to go and find each of them, and then on the way, finding each block basically unlocks a new part of the story. So it's more close to but it's not in a linear sense. It's kind of like you're looking at a frozen frame of time in your own journey through this open world. So after that, I finally started getting more programming done with the buttons, because a big part of it is operating machines. So I made toggleable buttons, different types of buttons. I made LEDs that connect to the buttons, made button systems. What is like the beginning of the audio towers, which the audio towers in this game are basically where people will, or you as the player will put in CDs into this tower, and you can activate it with a power source, and it'll play parts of the dialogue, which I wrote the days after that. And I am nowhere close to finishing the dialogue. I mostly just got the rough outlines of it, but that helped me with is seeing how I want the dialogue to be parsed, to be played in the game. Because if you ever seen those like Hopecore Instagram reels, very similar to those, I would say. You kind of have these words pop onto the screen, and they're quite short, sometimes quippy sentences, sometimes serious, and the dialogue's probably longer than most like in-game dialogues, because this one's more of a visual novel. And then the next day I implemented the actual dialogue system based on those few demo dialogues that I wrote. And this involved refactoring something that I stupidly vibe coded the week before, because I was rushing into the game development, not trying to plan it out. Don't vibe code it, please. It's not worth it. That being said, ChatGPT has become really helpful with Godot. So after they made that dialogue system, I started finally working on the world, which is probably the most important part of the game design, because the way the player navigates around the world is really most of the game. So I started by blocking it out with CSG meshes just in the Godot engine, and that was fun, finally getting to walk around big places in the twilight hour, which is what the lighting kind of looks like. Oh, I also added a flashlight to the player because I realized they probably need it, and it's incorporated in the story, as all things are, hopefully will be in this game. I started blocking out in Blender using their terrain tools because I don't want to use terrain in Godot. Don't ask me why. I blocked out the dunes, and then I did some like random art tests. My Blender importer script broke a few times, and this is getting into the later parts of the week. This is like yesterday and the day before, so Wednesday and Thursday. I didn't work too much today, but what I did do on it was actually make an art demo of a parking lot scene, because that's going to be part of the world. There's something that requires a parking lot. You have to watch the next one to find out what it is next. No, I will eventually talk about it, and I will eventually show more of the story when we get close to having a trailer. Yeah, so I made a quick lighting demo of the parking lot, which was fun. Oh, this was something I forgot. I made a demo of the Ferris wheel mini game. You'll be able to ride a Ferris wheel. It was super jank, completely blocked out, no art at all. But it was it made me hopeful. I think I'm ready to start implementing most of the systems. It's really just a matter of blocking out the world, making good design choices. Oh my god, that's just what game development is. This next week, I am going to finally start implementing game loops, and I'm going to start writing specific dialogue, and maybe even start on the novella itself, because I want to have that done like halfway through development. And this is all leading up to that demo, which needs to be out for the public in 2 months. But in between then, there will be playtests with art that will be available for people who specifically want to. So comment down below if you want to do that playtest, and subscribe if you like the updates of me sitting on granite while the gameplay goes in the background, and like the video. It helps. But it would be nice for people to play the game, because if I'm passionate about it, I think other people will like it. Anyways, y'all have a good week. I'll see you next Friday.